Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, finally, we've got the fusion template out. We can go through the kind of EMIC TRUNKHEART fusion. And for those people that are in the mix of doing it, I kind of talk you through my thoughts around how they've set this one up, where I'm going to kind of focus my time, all that type of stuff. And we'll have a look at the events that are out so far. Not that there's many, but we can kind of give at least an initial impression. Now, I've done a couple of videos already around EMIC. And I guess the few call-outs, right? He's basically Sir Nick mixed up with Painkeeper. And because of that, he is kind of unique, right? So I currently, in playtesting him so far, I've not found him to be as good as I originally thought he was going to be. But he still will unlock clan boss for you. It's just a bit harder to unlock than, say, a Man-Eater or Demither. So it's a little bit harder to work with. But he's still going to be able to do that for you. And that's a massive reason to fuse him. Outside of that, he's going to be good in Shogun. He's going to be good for this faction, for Faction Wars. And I think he's going to be good in Live Arena as well. But I've not been able to playtest Live Arena because we don't get that on the test server. The other thing is, because of his kit and because of this kind of like Painkeeper mix into his kit, right now we have not seen anywhere near his potential to do some wacky stuff. And in fact, we're just scraping the surface of it. So that's just a bit of a watch out, really, for those who are trying to make their decisions either purely based on his A1 taking a nerf before he came out, or what you've seen so far in Clan Boss. I don't think we've seen all this dude is capable of. So that's just a watch out. Has he been a bit overhyped by me and others? Probably yes, honestly. But from what I've seen so far. So that's fair. Okay, let's have a look at the calendar here then. Now, in total, there are 400 points of available fragments, and we've got the same champion right the way through. So, Freegun Isbail, probably said that wrong, Ishbail maybe, is the champion that we need on all of the epics. So it's the same champion for all of the epics. The good news with that is, actually, if you just want the epics, you know, let's say this champion is someone you want to use for Bommel. If you just want this epic, well, you're almost guaranteed this epic. You're almost guaranteed like 2 or 3 copies because it's going to be easy to do that. If you want this actual fusion, then all of the events kind of like pull towards the same currency. Yeah, all of them pull towards the same currency. So there's not like I've missed 20 fragments of this particular champion, therefore my whole fusion's done. All of the catch-up is based on the same champion, okay? The way they're doing this then, we've got 3... Wow, we've got 3 summoning events. Okay. So in total, there's 450 points up for grabs. You've got 25 on one summon rush, 25 on a champion chase, and then a 50 on another summon rush. So you could ignore this summon rush and this champion chase and put all your eggs in one basket for this summon rush, providing you could do the rest of the events. That wouldn't be a bad strat. I'd imagine, though, this 50 points is going to be hard to get. I'd imagine they're going to put these 50 points pretty deep into this summon rush. So that's still going to be fairly dodgy. It's quite hard when you've got to do a summon rush and a champion chase. That's generally quite a lot of shards required. We know that next weekend is going to be a 2 times on ancient shards. Yeah, and there's actually a 10 times, which I'll go through in this video, that's been dropped for this weekend as well. But yeah, 2 times on ancient shards will be in line with this champion chase. So pretty much the summon rushes, you're going to be wanting to use voids and sacreds if you can, saving your ancients for next week. So 3 summoning events, the extra points are in a summon rush. I mean, it's quite harsh really, because it means you pretty much got to do the lot. In terms of the other stuff then, Dragon, Ice Golem, Finite Spider, that's all about can you just farm a decent level. If you can farm sort of stage 13 or above, and you know, and you've got a good grasp of the game, then these should be relatively comfortable. Normally you need 2,000 to 2,250 points per event of this, and it's normally a 1-for-1 on energy for the amount of points you need to score, pretty much. So it gives you a good feel for how much energy you're going to need to get those done. They're all over a few days, so, you know, don't think, oh, I need to do this day 1. Sometimes you can just spread it over the 4 days. And in fact, you know, the Dragon tournament is dovetailing in with this Dungeon Divers. For me, Dungeon Divers has been the hardest ones to finish over the last few months. They've really ramped up the points you need for this. But the best way to do it, a Dungeon Diver event, is to be farming stage 20 dungeons. So if you could do that, great. But yeah, Dragon Tournament into Dungeon Divers. You've got champion training in here as well, which is either utilizing your tavern or doing campaign farming. So again, even more energy, or utilizing brews and champions you've already got. I've done like a trick video about that put out at the end here around the best way to do these type of tournaments. We've got a couple of classic arenas, generally easy as long as you're active, okay? And then we've got 3 artifact events down here. That's pretty much a silver check. You should earn enough silver as you're doing the rest of this stuff to be able to do these. Yeah, generally you should always be topping up silver to get you over the line on the next one, So yeah, the call out here is we don't really know what's going on with the summoning events, and the Dungeon Divers are very, very tough to get done. You know, normally I used to say, don't start, you know, like this Ice Golem here, don't start until this is going off, because you need all of your energy for these Dungeon Divers. Like, they're really, really, they become very tough to do. So this is the plan. It's normal. It's what we would expect to see, apart from this extra 50 sitting in here for the Summon Rush. Let's just take a look in game and see what the ones that are out there already look like. So the first Dragon one's popped. You can see I'm farming Dragon already. The first Dungeon Divers, though, hasn't started yet. So I'm farming too early, but hopefully when you see this video, they'll both be live at the same time. And you can see, yeah, 250 is generally the mark for this type of stuff. I would suggest once you get there, like, you just hard stop unless you're going to carry on to do more Dungeon Diver point scoring. We don't know any of the other stuff yet around Summon Rush and stuff like that. But we do know that this is kind of like all set up. You might get lucky and pull one of these champions when you're doing your summons. And if you do, I mean, that's extremely fortunate. And yeah, it gives you a massive head start, obviously, around everything else that's going on. Let's just have a look then at these other 10 times champions that are in the mix, which is going out like in line with the Summon Rush tomorrow. So looks like they're teeing up for the big Hydra clash with these. There's a lot of very, very strong Hydra champions here. So the first one up for grabs is going to be the Epic Husk. Yeah, he's got the AoE enemy max HP skill, really solid. And then the A1 Provoked makes him a brilliant, brilliant Hydra champion. I use him in one of my teams. The second champion in the mix is probably the best Epic in the game. Unlocks a lot of very hard content. Geomancer, best Epic in the game for me. Number 1 champion you would want to get as an Epic. Yeah, and it's all because of this A3. Puts out a burn and a weaken on the A3. And then when anyone in your team is hit, whilst that burn is on an enemy, you've got a chance of doing pretty much a mini War Master proc against the enemy for each hit. So you can absolutely smack stuff into smithereens when this passive is up. What makes him quite unique and so good is that because this is based on you being hit, all you need is enough accuracy to land this, obviously some speed to get going, but then you just need to be a tank, because all of the damage is based on you taking hits. So it's pretty damn cool. But yeah, Geomancer's also got a buff steal A2 and an AoE decrease accuracy A1. Brilliant Epic. Next one up for grabs, another enemy max HP skill champion. Are they all enemy max HP? No, they're not. No. Another enemy max HP is the Royal Guard. Again, really, really solid for endgame content. Great champion anyway, honestly. Drop defense A1. AoE enemy max HP smack on the A2, much like Husk. And then an 4-hitter decreased speed and turn meter drop A3. People overlook this skill. It's brilliant. Dark Fade, this skill comes in super clutch. And people use him at very high level finite as well. Not so much on hard, but leading up to hard as well. The next Epic, again, another Hydra God, Shamal. Shamal is the best answer to the Head of Torment in the game. Yeah, so whenever True Fear or Fear lands on anyone on your team, it cleans it straight off and instead gives your leader a bunch of turn meter. Yeah, and he gets like retaliation hits away as well. He's got a decent hit in A2 and an okay hit in A1. His A2, he can literally just one-shot tanks in the arena or in like hard Doom Tower waves, that type of thing. But mainly he's used for this ability as passive for Hydra. And that is it for the Epics. In terms of the Legendaries then, The Walking Tomb Dreng. So I don't actually own this champion. I didn't do the fusion for him on this account. I did it on my free-to-play when it was out. Cool looking champ, by the way. So Walking Tomb Dreng is one of the best burners in the game. He's got this AoE HP burn, which cannot be resisted. And then he's got an activation of burn on the A1. And now this combo is really solid for boss killing. Albeit we've now got Artak, and Artak does this job really well as well. But Walking Tomb is one of the best champions for two-man squad against the Iron Twins. Who is it? The Sand Devil! Yeah, so he's one of the best champions to pair with Godseeker to get that Sand Devil dead. He's also got this kind of funky heal on his A3 as well, which is cool. Got a good passive as well. Yeah, Walking Tomb is really solid. Another champion up for grabs here is going to be Mashald. So Mashald is a solid damage dealer, really good for Hydra as well. So he's got a buff steal on the A3. He's got increased speed and crit damage on the A2 for your whole team. And then he puts out Leech on the enemies, True Fear as well in the arena. And he's got an A1, which will just smack every enemy that's got Leech on it. Which is very cool, so it counts as single target hits. Doesn't get all of that damage mitigation that the Hydra heads do through the AoE hits. Yeah, so Mashal becomes really good for Hydra. Next one up, this is pretty much in line with Hydra having these new events that are dropping, right? This is going to be the way that you see the big teams get their damage multipliers up. Fighting hard, using Trunda. I mean, Trunda is hard broken right now. I'm trying to see if I can find you a screenshot here. So here's a screenshot of Trunda going to town on hard Hydra. Obviously, I mean, it's a double Yumiko team. Like, this is the super endgame player. But look at it. It's absolutely insane that Trunda is doing 3.6 billion damage in this comp. And, you know, this is the type of thing that basically the big boys that are trying to win these comps, that's the type of teams that they want to build. So we're asking for Raid to change some of this multiplier stuff around the Hydra Clash, because at the moment everyone's going to be fighting hard and doing crazy stuff with their Trundas. Anyway, what's going on with her? Why is she so good for that? Well, an A1 double hitter with a stun. The A2 is one of the reasons why there's so much damage. So she attacks one enemy. In terms of the Hydra, she's attacking a dead head. Okay, and then what she then does is she gets like a multiplier on top of her damage she's already done, which kicks in the crit damage multiplier again. I think it's a bug. They've never fixed it, so they obviously don't think it's a bug. But the second hit, it says here it does 60% of the damage. It doesn't. It actually does considerably more and multiplies up. So Trunda kind of busted. And then her A3 is just an absolute AoE smack as well. She used to be the goddess of Arena. She's still bloody solid for Arena, right? But there's so many different mechanics out there now and so many different ways to stop damage that she's just not as strong as she used to be versus some of the people like that ignore those mechanics. So yeah, she's good. Actually not bad for PvE generally. She can put burns out there with stuns and she does hard hitting, but she used to be Arena. Now she's pretty much Hydra. The last champion doesn't get any less broken, honestly. They've got brilliant champions for this ×10. Yeah, Acrisia in the mix as well. I think definitely the best PvE champion in the game. So she's got all of her skills at enemy max HP. That's what makes Newt so good. She's got it everywhere. Yeah. She's also putting drop defense out on her A1. She is doing a double hit enemy max HP on the whole enemy wave on the A2. And she's doing turn me to steal enemy max HP on the A3. So super good for Dark Fae. She's great against any boss really. And insane against Hydra because of this AoE smack. And she's also really tanky. She's hard to kill because of this passive as well, where she's just taking less damage from AoEs. And she gets a bit of a shield going on in part of her kit somewhere here. So yeah, Acrisia, probably #1 champion in PvE, is in the ×10 as well. So there you go, guys. We've got the fusion schedule out there with the kind of weird mechanic. Let me know what you think about that. And I guess, yeah, any of these ×10 champions you actually want to go for, let me know. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.